Good day, everyone. We are the Group 2, and today we will tackle about Unit 4, which is Highway Materials and Equipment Used in Construction. Here are the presenter for this day: Busal Pakir, Kaling Arnold Gian, Kapia Wali, Cordova Simon Ian, Cordova Jerlane, Coria Laki, Cruz Lovely Lizette, and Dagdag Renshel. And again, the topic for this day, 4.1.1 Highway Materials and Equipment Used in Construction. As for the overview of this unit, which is the Unit 4, have you had a trip recently? While traversing the wide expressways, narrow streets, have you ever wondered what materials are used on the road you are on? Knowing the materials that go into constructing roads is a must, especially if you are in the constructions business. You might have the proper construction equipment ready at bay like those, bulky road rollers, or paving machines. But without the proper materials and surfaces, your project might end up as a failure. Well, worry no more because this chapter will discuss all the things you need to know about the materials and equipment used in highway construction. Here are the objectives for this topic: to identify and classify the different materials used in highway construction, to classify the proper soil used in highway construction, characterize the aggregates used in highway construction, evaluate the main components of a highway pavement, and lastly is to familiarize the equipment used in highway construction. Here are the materials used in highway construction. We have here the soil, aggregates, cement, bituminous materials and blinders, mineral fillers, steel, and geoplastic fabrics. Good day, everyone. I'm Jerlyn Cordova, and I'll be the first reporter for this day. So, before we proceed to the highway materials used in construction, we need to learn why do we need to be familiarized in highway materials. Roads makes a crucial contribution to economic development and growth and bring important social benefits. They are of vital importance in order to make a nation grow and develop. Katulad nga nung nabanggit ko kanina dun sa previous slide, katulad ng soil, aggregates, and more, and other materials, yung mga materials na yon magsiserve as the foundation ng highway. So, kung yung gagamitin na materials ay hindi suitable sa highway or sa construction, ang tendency lang nun ay mag-fail yung project. So, roads are important. Kasi nga, mostly ay dumadaan dito like yung cars pag sa pagde-deliver ng goods sa transportation and etc. So, as a future civil engineer, it is significant to learn all the material or the material used in highway construction in order to create a good quality one. Here is one of the materials used in highway construction, which is the soil. Soil is an accumulation or deposit of earth material derived naturally from disintegration of rocks or decay of vegetation that can be excavated readily with power equipment in the field or disintegrated by gentle mechanical means in the laboratory. In other words, soil is the thin layer of material covering the earth's surface. So it is formed from the weathering of rocks, katulad nga nasa presentation, and the decomposition of plants. So what is the role of soil in highway construction? So ang role ng soil is to serve as the foundation of the highway. Before yung mga professionals mag-proceed ng construction, they are conducting a test or they're conducting a soil test to know whether the soil quality is stable enough and it has the ability to withstand the weight of the moving loads. So kapag yung soil na gagamitin para sa construction or para sa highway construction ay hindi good quality, ang tendency lang nun na yung road na na yon ay masira lang, mag-rock lang kasi nga yung soil niya hindi siya hindi siya healthy enough para ma-carry niya or ma-hold niya yung loads ng mga sasakyan or the moving roads or moving loads rather. katulad na lang ng mga cars, mga 10-wheeler trucks, and etc. Subgrade soil. So, yung subgrade, another term siya for soil, and subgrade kasi yung ginagamit pag sa construction. So, what is subgrade? It is the native soil that has been compacted to withstand the loads above it. So, it is located beneath the pavement na kung saan ito nga yung mag-hold o mag-withstand ng bigat ng mga moving loads. And pag sinabi kasing subgrade na yung soil, ibig sabihin lang nun that it is compacted enough and it is good for construction. We have here the kinds of subgrade, the natural subgrade and compacted subgrade. In natural subgrade is undisturbed. It means from the word itself, natural, na no mechanism or whatsoever is involved. Then the compacted subgrade, so if the contractor used the aid of controlled movement of heavy compactors on the soil beneath the pavement, it is called the compacted subgrade. Here naman, itong subgrade na to, kailangan pa ng help ng mechanism ng mga machines like ng mga compactors para ma-compacted para masiksik yung lupa. So, example ng compactors, yung mga road roller. So, makikita nyo pag nagkakaroon ng highway construction, yun yung malaking roller na pumapatag dun sa lupa. Here are the desirable properties of a subgrade soil. The first one is stability, wherein yung subgrade soil must have the capacity to resist the permanent deformation under the traffic loads. So, the next one is incompressibility, wherein yung subgrade soil should be well compacted o siksik talaga siya in order to prevent the compressive under the heavy traffic loads. And pag kasi yung subgrade soil is well compacted or siksik na mabuti, it will provide a good support to road pavement. So as for the permanency of strength or also known as durability, so kung yung subgrade ay hindi ganun kalakas, makakapekto yun sa durability ng road pavement. That is why the bearing capacity of subgrade soil should be sufficient for long-term durability. The next one is the minimum changes in volume and stability under adverse condition of weather and groundwater. The next one is the good drainage. So yung subgrade should have a excellent drain capacity, or kung hindi naman kung hindi naman ang subgrade ay hindi ganun kaganda ang capacity niya, ang drainability niya, malaki yung magiging epekto nun dun sa strength ng pavement. Kasi ang good drainage kasi is necessary to prevent the excessive moisture ng lupa. The last one is the ease of compaction. So, yung soil dapat is meron siyang good compacting properties, wherein pag kasi siksik na maganda yung lupa or well compacted na siya, magre-result yun ng strength and tibay para dun sa road pavements. At ito ngang ease of compaction property na to, mag-e-ensure to na yung subgrade soil mo is high density and yung strength niya is good enough para ma-withstand yung traffic loads. There are types of soil. The first one is sand, the next one is silt, and the last one is the clay. So sa sand, yung particle size niya is 0.05 mm to 2 mm. Para naman dun sa silt, it is smaller than the sand and ang particle size niya is 0.002 mm to 0.05 mm. At para naman sa clay, which is ito yung pinaka maliit yung particle size niya, which is the less than 0.002 mm. The first type of soil is the sand. So sand are the granular material that are made up of finely divided rocks and mineral particles. So it is finer than the gravel and coarser than silt. So we can easily determine it by its size. And according dun sa article na nabasa ko sa Science Direct, na yung sand has been used as a sub-base layers in pavement construction during the last decade, and they can be used for roads to carry light and medium traffic. So yung sand is ginagamit siya sa road construction sa pamagitan ng pag-mix with the asphalt or as the construction field, and also for the concrete blocks, bricks, and pipes. Sa mga country naman na nag-snow, yung sand is a good help to reduce the slippery loads. The next type of soil is the silt, wherein yung silt is finer than sand and has a brighter color when compared to clay and has a little cohesion. When you try to mix the water with a lump of silty soil and alternately tap and squeeze the mixture, a shiny surface will appear, and a specific property of such soil is dilatancy. Yung silt is hindi siya nako-compact or hindi siya nasisiksik ng maayos, and wala siyang ability na or wala siyang dry strength because of the little cohesion between the grains, and it can be easily broken down and pulverized when in a dry lumps. For the last type of soil, which is the clay, this soil is finer than silt, and the soil that belongs to this type exhibits stickiness, high dry strength, and shows no dilatancy. Black cotton soil and other expansive clays exhibit swelling and shrinkage properties. So when you try to rub a piece of clay with water in between your fingers, it will leave stains which is not observed for silts. The clay is considered as an organic soil, and it has a high mineral count of the other soils. And the clay is ideal for growing. For example is plants and something like that. Yung clay is na-consider siya as plastic. Kaya naman, yung challenge na magtayo dun sa clay. Kasi nga, yung clay is too sticky, ang hirap gumalaw.
So hi guys, I'm Kier Busalpa, and for this topic is pag-aaralan natin kung ano ba yung aggregates. So pag sinabing aggregates, refers to the collection of minerals such as sand, gravel, and crushed stones used with a binding medium to form a compound material. So pag sinabing aggregates daw, ito ay collection ng mineral gaya ng sand, gravel, and crushed stone. So ginagamit siya para makabuo ng compound material na ginagamit natin sa construction. So pag sinabi namang compound material, ito ay binubuo ng 2 or more different materials. So halimbawa nga niyan is yung asphalt and concrete. Using volume, hot mix asphalt is composed of 92 to 96% aggregate, while Portland cement concrete has 70 to 80%. Aggregates are also used on both flexible and rigid pavements, base and sub-base. There are two main types of aggregates, natural and manufactured. Generally, natural aggregates are extracted from larger rock formation through an open excavation. So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabing natural aggregates, ito yung aggregates na nakukuha natin sa paghukay sa isang construction. Typically, those extracted rocks are reduced to usable size by mechanical crushing. Manufactured aggregates, on the other hand, is often the byproduct of other manufacturing industries. So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabing manufactured aggregates, ito yung aggregates na pinag-eksperimentuhan na, kumbaga, may naiba na sa kanyang characteristics. So, dito gumagamit sila ng machine. So, ibig sabihin, yung aggregates na ito ay hindi na natural. Aggregate sources. There are two main types of sources of aggregate. It either came from natural or manufactured sources. Natural aggregates. So, natural aggregates came from rocks which are classified into 3 geological classification. It can either be igneous rock, sedimentary rock, or metamorphic rock. Ang unang classification is igneous rocks. Igneous rocks, they form by the cooling of molten rock materials beneath the Earth's crust. Igneous rocks are primarily crystalline. So, pag sinabing igneous rock, ito yung mga kristal o yung diamante. So, yung pangalawang classification is sedimentary rocks. These rocks are made up of deposited insoluble materials like the remains of existing rock at the bottom of a lake or ocean. So, ibig sabihin yung sedimentary rock is insoluble material. Ibig sabihin hindi siya nadidissolve sa water. So, ito yung gaya ng mga bato na nakikita natin sa lake and sea or ocean. Sedimentary rocks are transformed to rock by heat and pressure. These rocks are layered in appearance. There are three classifications of sedimentary rock based on their predominant mineral. So, yung unang classification ng sedimentary rocks is calcareous rocks. Calcareous rocks are predominantly carbonate rocks, usually limestone or dolostone. So, yung pangalawa is siliceous rocks. Siliceous rocks are sedimentary rocks that have silica as the principal constituent. The most common siliceous rocks is dirt. Other types include diatomite. So, yung pangatlo is argillaceous rocks. Argillaceous rocks contain silt or clay-sized particles that are less than 0.0625 mm and or clay minerals. The argillaceous rocks include shales, argillites, siltstone, and mudstones. So, yung next is yung pangatlong classification ng natural rock. Ito ay metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rock when igneous and sedimentary rock is subjected to heat and or pressure that is great enough to change their mineral structure and become different from the original rock, they are considered as metamorphic rock. So, ibig sabihin, kung ang igneous rock daw o sedimentary rocks ay nainitan o na-pressure na kayang baguhin yung kanilang mineral structure, so kinukonsider na siyang metamorphic rock. So, yung next is manufactured rocks or aggregates. They are usually byproduct of manufacturing industries such as slag or specialty rocks that are produced to have particular physical properties that are not found in natural rock, like the low density of lightweight aggregates. So, pag sinabing manufactured aggregates, they are usually a byproduct of manufacturing industries. So, ibig sabihin niya, ito ay na-process o meron ditong ginawang experiment para makuha yung characteristics ng aggregates na hinahanap nila. Kaya nga sabi dyan, that are produced to have particular physical properties that are not found in natural rock, like the low density of lightweight aggregates.
Good day everyone, I'm Arnel Gian M. Kaling and I will discuss the types of cement. So first, ano nga ba yung cement? Cement is a binding agent that sets and hardens to adhere to building units such as stones, bricks, tiles, etc. Cement is one of the most important building materials. It is undeniable that cement has a huge contribution on the advancement of civilization, particularly to transportation. Alam naman natin na para makabuo ng mga buildings, highways at iba pang infrastructure ay kailangan natin gumamit ng cement at sobrang laki ng tulong nito sa advancement of civilization. Some example of successful cement application are bridges, tunnels, safety barriers, slope protections, concrete roads, and highways. Also, yung cement ay may malaking impact sa maintenance cost at sa pagpapahaba ng service life ng mga na-mention na infrastructure kanina. Ngayon, alamin naman natin yung mga types of cement at kung saan sila ginagamit. So, there are 13 types of cement. So, first ay ang Ordinary Portland Cement or OPC. It is the most common and widely used type of cement, which suitable for most general construction projects. The global production of this cement is on average of 3.8 million cubic meters per year. Itong Ordinary Portland Cement ay ang pinaka-ginagamit na cement sa mga construction project. Ito yung usually na ginagamit pag nire-require yung high strength and fast setting. So may tatlong grade na available ang Ordinary Portland Cement. Yung OPC 33 grade, OPC 43 grade at OPC 53 grade. Next is Portland Pozzolana Cement or PPC. This kind of cement is highly resistant to various chemical attacks on concrete compared to ordinary Portland cement. It is mostly used on underwater or marine structures, sewage works, and other concrete works that requires the concrete to be submerged on water. In preparing Portland Pozzolana cement, pozzolanic clinker is grinded together with Portland cement. You can also produce it by adding pozzolana with the addition of gypsum or calcium sulfate. Yung cement na to ay environment friendly at ito yung mostly ginagamit sa mga underwater or marine structures and sewage works. Kasi siya ay suitable in hostile environmental conditions at ito ay corrosion resistant. So ang difference lang ng PPC sa OPC ay yung OPC ay hinaluan ng pozzolana material katulad ng fly ash and volcanic ash. Kaya siya naging Portland Pozzolana Cement or PPC. Next is rapid hardening cement. This cement is kind of similar to ordinary Portland cement except to the fact that it rapidly hardens and attains high strength in shorter period of time. This cement has higher content of lime and tricalcium silicate or C3S and finer grinding that helps it attain higher strength development than OPC at early stage. With the same water-cement ratio, the strength of a 3 days rapid hardening cement is similar to a 7-day OPC. The main advantage of this cement is that formworks can be removed earlier, thus increasing the speed of construction and decreases the cost of construction by saving formwork costs. It is mostly used on prefabricated concrete construction, roadworks, and other projects that requires fast curing concrete. Itong rapid hardening cement ay mas mabilis tumigas. In just 3 days, maa-attain niya na yung high strength. Hindi tulad ng ordinary Portland cement, ay 7 days pa bago niya maabot yung high strength niya. Ginagamit yung rapid hardening cement sa pagre-repair ng roads at bridges, pero it is not used in mass concrete construction. Next is quick setting cement. While the rapid hardening cement hardens and strengthens quickly, quick setting cement sets earlier, but the gain or increase in strength is just the same as an ordinary Portland cement. In both rapid hardening cement and quick setting cement, formworks can be removed earlier. Quick setting concrete can be used on projects that required short time of completion. Yung quick setting cement naman ay mabilis din siyang tumigas, katulad ng rapid hardening cement. Kaso yung gain ng strength niya ay katulad lang ng OPC, na maaating lang niya in just 7 days. Unlike sa rapid hardening cement ay 3 days lang. Tulad din ng rapid hardening cement, hindi ginagamit sa mass concrete construction itong quick setting cement. Next is low heat cement. The most suitable kind of cement for mass concrete construction, like gravity dams, is the low heat cement for its low heat of hydration that prevents concrete cracking due to heat or thermal expansion. This cement has increased power against sulfates. Sulfates attacks on concrete can cause expansion, cracking, strength loss, and disintegration of concrete, and is less reactive, and its initial setting time is greater as compared to OPC. It is produced by maintaining 6% or below of tricalcium aluminate and by increasing the proportion of dicalcium silicate or C2S. Yung low heat cement ay mas better gamitin sa mga mass concrete construction dahil mas less yung heat na nire-release nito pag pinapatuyo yung semento. Hindi tulad ng OPC, pag pinapatuyo na ay nagre-release siya ng malaking quantity of heat. So, nagre-result ito sa large cracks on the concrete surface. Ang cons lang ng low heat cement ay matagal niya ma-achieve yung full strength niya. However, the ultimate strength niya naman ay the same lang as OPC. Next is sulfate-resisting cement. Not all construction projects are done on areas where soil is compatible on OPC. Sulfate-resisting cements are used for areas where soil has a sulfate content. This cement has reduced the contents of tricalcium aluminate or C3A and tetracalcium alumina ferrite or C4AF. Sulfate-resisting cements are usually used on projects that are exposed to severe sulfate action by water or soil that are present on areas like canal linings, culverts, retaining walls, siphons, and others. Yung sulfate-resisting cement naman ay ginagamit sa mga underground construction kasi yung OPC ay susceptible to the attacks of sulfates due to the action of chemicals like seawater or underground water. Next is blast furnace slag cement. This cement is obtained by grinding the clinker with about 60% of slag. It has almost the same properties as an OPC. It is mostly used on works that has high economic consideration. This kind of concrete is not used on emergency works, as it has low initial strength and high setting time. It can work with OPC to increase strength, reduce permeability, improve chemical resistance, and it inhibits rebar corrosion. This cement naman ay na-create by mixing the Portland cement, clinker, and granulated blast furnace slag. This type of cement can be used for all types of concrete construction at pwede rin ito ihalo sa OPC. So the strength and hydration will be better unlike sa ordinary OPC. Next is high alumina cement. By melting a mixture of bauxite and lime and grinding it together with the clinker, high alumina cement is obtained. It has an initial setting time of 3.5 hours and final setting time of 5 hours. This cement has a very high compressive strength, and it also more workable than high alumina cement is mostly used on construction works where concrete are subjected to high temperatures, frost, and acidic reaction. As the heat required for producing this cement is high, its manufacturing cost is also high. So this cement naman ay na-create by grinding bauxite, lime, and clinker. And this cement has a very high compressive strength, and it can attain its strength in just 24 hours. Also, this type of cement is resistant to the action of seawater, acidic water, and sulfate. And these cement are used widely in precast concreting. Next is white cement. White cement is mostly used on architectural purposes, such as precast curtain wall and facing panels, terrazzo surface, also on interior and exterior decorative works, such as external rendering of buildings, facing slabs, tiling works, or ornamental concrete products, and the likes. It is a type of ordinary Portland cement that is colored white, and it is costlier. It is prepared from raw materials that are free from iron oxide. This cement ay katulad lang siya ng OPC. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila, this cement is white in color. Mas prepared gamitin ang white cement sa mga prestige construction project and ornamental works. Next is colored cement. Cements that are widely used for decorative works on floor and is produced by mixing 5 to 10% mineral pigment with ordinary cement. So, this cement naman ay yung ordinary cement o OPC ay hinaluan lang siya ng pigment. Pero mas preferred nilang haluan yung white cement kasi mas bright yung color na lumalabas. Unlike sa OPC, kulay gray siya. Nagiging dull yung color ng cement. Unlike sa OPC, kulay gray siya. Nagiging dull yung color ng kinakalabasan ng cement. So in terms of strength naman, katulad lang siya ng OPC. Next is air entraining cement. Air entraining cement is produced by adding air entraining agents such as resins, glues, sodium salts of sulfates, etc. during the grinding of clinker. In improving the frost resistance of concrete and the workability with smaller water-cement ratio, this kind of cement is used. So yung cement naman na to ay ginagamit usually sa mga countries na may snow. The primary use of air entraining cement is it improves the frost resistance of concrete. Next is expansive cement. This kind of cement expands slightly with time and is mainly used for grouting pre-stressed concrete ducts and anchor bolts. So, ang use naman ng cement na to ay to minimize cracking caused by drying, shrinkage in concrete slabs and pavement structures, and in special circumstances like prevention of water leakages. Expansive cement created by mixing of Portland cement, expanding agent, and stabilizer. And lastly, hydrographic cement. This cement is mainly used for construction works that are located on water, such as dams, water tanks, spillways, water retaining structures, etc. It is prepared by mixing water repelling agent or chemicals on cement, and it has high workability and strength. Its main property of repelling water helps it withstand monsoon or rains. Ito ay na-create by mixing OPC and water repellent film forming substances like oleic acid and stearic acid. And yung hydrographic cement ay ginagamit sa mga water-predominant construction sites such as dams, spillways, and underwater constructions. Note that ordinary Portland cement is widely used by engineers on most highway construction projects unless there is a definite need to use other kinds of cement and projects that requires faster completion. So, dito na nagtatapos yung aking report. Thank you for listening.
Good day, I am Wally H. Capia, and on this chapter I will be discussing the bituminous materials and binders. So what is bitumen? Bitumen is a dense and highly viscous petroleum-based hydrocarbon, which is, or in Tagalog is, siksik at malapot na range of chemicals that comprise oil and products refined from oil na kadalasang nakikita sa deposits such as oil sands, pitch lakes, or natural bitumen na kung saan matatakil natin mamaya, and it can also be obtained as the residue of distillation or kapag naglilinis tayo ng crude oil. In United States and in most parts of the world, it is called asphalt, or kahit na dito sa bansa natin, sa Pilipinas, tinatawag din siyang asphalt. It is also called as tar or pitch, pero hindi dahil sinabing tinatawag siyang tar or pitch is pareho na sila ng meaning at ng materials. But technically speaking, they were not. Kasi nga, when we say tar, it is only a byproduct of coal carbonization or yung process na kung saan i-broken down natin yung mga woods by heating into elemental carbon and chemical compounds. Samantalang yung pitch naman is produced by the distillation of coal tar or kapag naglilinis tayo ng coal carbonization natin or ng coal tar, nakakapag-produce tayo ng pitch. Okay, so bituminous materials are materials bound together with bitumen. So when we say bituminous materials, ito yung mga materials na pinagsasama-sama. Nakasama rin dito ang bitumen. Okay, so ano nga ba yung mga materials na yun? Just like aggregates, pwede rin natin isama yung mga semento, mga cement. And then sabi dito, at early times, the use of bituminous materials are limited to road construction, wherein, totoo naman, kasi nga, most of the time, ginagamit namang yung mga bituminous materials sa road construction. But as time pass, yung pag-a-apply na nung bituminous materials is nag-spread na into different purposes, such as roof construction, industrial purposes, carpet tiles, paints, and special coating for waterproofing different construction projects. So what are the types of bituminous materials? The first type is that asphalt. But before that, traditionally in United Kingdom, there are two categories of bituminous materials. Yun nga yung sinabi ko kanina na asphalt, and the second one is the macadam. Okay, first, what is asphalt? When we say asphalt, it is a mixture of aggregates, binder, and filler used for constructing and maintaining roads, parking areas, railway tracks, and etc. So, yung asphalt daw, sinasabi dito na isa siyang mixture of aggregates or mixture of natural materials like mix of sand, crushed or broken stone, gravel, or even burnt clay. Na kung saan ginagamit ito to construct and to maintain roads. Yung mga nabanggit kanina, like parking areas, railways, sidewalks, or airport runways. The second one is the macadam. Okay, so the macadam is a type of road construction wherein it was pioneered by Scottish engineer John Loudon Macadam, wherein yung name na macadam is nanggaling sa apelido ni John Loudon Macadam around 1820, in which single-sized crushed stone layers of small angular stones are placed in shallow lifts and compacted thoroughly. Okay, so na kung saan daw sinasabi dito na yung single-sized crushed stones ay nilalagay sa mga shallow lips at ikinocompact truly. So, ang macadam is either through a binding layer of stone dust or yung mga crushed na stone from the original material and then inilalagay lang siya sa i-construct natin na daan, or it may be also after rolling or kapag ginamitan na ng road roller yung gusto nating daan na kung saan yung mga stones is makakompact truly. In the Philippines, asphalt is considered as bitumen itself. In asphalt, the strength and stiffness is gained through the mortar property, while the case of macadam, its strength is dependent on the aggregates that are present on the mixture. Okay, so pag sinabi natin dito na mortar property, ito na yung property na kung saan in the Philippines, asphalt is considered as bitumen itself. In asphalt, the strength and stiffness is gained through the mortar property, while in the case of macadam, its strength is dependent on the aggregates that are present on the mixture. Okay, in both categories, the bitumen property changes. So, malalaman natin mamaya kung bakit yung bitumen property is change, how, and that it is found that bitumen properties govern in asphalt than in the case of macadam. So, ito yung representation of asphalt mix and its characteristics. Kung makikita natin sa table on the screen, yung coarse aggregate is hiwa-hiwalay. Samantalang yung mortar of bitumen naman or yung fines and filler is mas madami sila than the coarse aggregate. So why? Because the first one is that dense mortar providing strength and stiffness. Because yung mortar of bitumen, sila mismo yung nagpo-provide ng strength and stiffness sa road, sa construct na road. It has high bitumen content, high fillers or fines content, low coarse aggregate content, which is yun nga yung makikita natin na parang mga bato-bato na yun, and then load transmitted through mortar. Samantalang kung makikita naman natin sa representation of macadam mix and its characteristics, mas compact, mas dikit-dikit yung coarse aggregate than sa asphalt. Kung makikita nyo, and then yung mortar of bitumen natin is hindi ganun kadami or wala talaga. Kasi nga, most of the time, compact talaga pag macadam mix. Kasi nga, di ba, kasi ito yung mga durog na bato, yung mga sand, gravels, ganun lang to. And most of this is transmitted through aggregate structure. Sabi nga sa characteristics niya, it is well-graded aggregate giving a dense stable aggregate structure. So mismo yung magiging matibay siya, kumukuha lang din siya ng katibayan niya sa aggregate structure niya. It has low bitumen content and load transmitted through aggregate structure. Okay, so constituents of bituminous materials. Diba? So what is bituminous materials nga? Ito nga yung composed of graded aggregate and bitumen. This is also a presence of small proportion of air that makes the bituminous material a three-phase material. So the overall property of the bituminous material rely on the individual property of each phase and the respective mixed proportions. So sinasabi dito na yung overall property ng bituminous materials natin is nag-rely siya sa individual na property ng sarili-sarili nilang phase and the respective mixed proportion or kung paano sila na paghahalo. When we say the bitumen and the aggregate, the two solid phase of the bituminous mixture are different in nature. So, katulad ng pag-usapan kanina or na-discuss ko kanina is magkaiba talaga sila. Wherein, aggregate is hard in nature. Kasi nga, di ba, ito yung mga solid rocks or it is from natural materials na kung saan dinudurog lang siya. However, when we say naman na bitumen, it is flexible and changes its properties depending on the temperature due to its softness. So kung sobrang init ng temperature mo, kung ilalagay mo ang bitumen sa napakainit na lugar, maaari magbago yung property ng bitumen kasi nga flexible siya and because of its softness. It indicates that the overall performance of the mixture is dependent on the bitumen proportion in the whole mix. So, yung overall performance daw ng mixture is nakadepende siya sa magiging proportion ng whole mix or magiging proportion ng bitumen. And then the fine component of the aggregate is called the filler. It should pass through 0.063 millimeter sieve. In some cases, the graded aggregate mixture contains some quantity of fillers, but if it is not adequate, extra fillers are used. can be in the form of Portland cement, hydrated lime, or limestone dust. So, dito, yung mga aggregates natin is, ang component ng fine aggregates natin is tinatawag na filler, wherein ito is, sumasali siya or dumadaan muna siya sa process of i-fill muna siya and then i-fill muna siya bago siya gamitin or sinasala. Dahil kung hindi siya kung hindi pa salang-sala yung aggregate natin, maaari po siya dumaan sa isang process or extra process of fillers or like in the form of katulad nga nung in the form of Portland cement, hydrated lime, or limestone dust, which is na-discuss kanina. So what are the sources of bitumen? The first sources, it came from natural bitumen and the refinery bitumen. When we say natural bitumen, it all came from the stones or from lake of asphalts. With the help of geological process, bitumen is obtained from petroleum naturally. They are usually found deposited at bitumen-impregnated rocks and bituminous sands that have only a few bitumen percentage and are found to seem intimately connected with the mineral aggregates. So kung nakikita nyo yung image na yan yung sinasabi nating bitumen na kung saan it is broken down into pieces or talagang and then yung iba nilulusaw kasi nga soft lang siya. The most notable areas where bitumen deposits are found are in the Val de Travers region of Switzerland and the tar sand area of North America, wherein most of these bitumen were ina-export sa ibang bansa para gamitin into different aspects. There are also asphalt lakes that exist. There are three. Two are located in Los Angeles, the La Brea Tar Pit, and the other one is the Lake Guanoco in Venezuela. Among those three, ang pinakang magnificent na sinasabi dito is yung pinakamalaki sa kanilang tatlo, which is called the La Brea Pitch Lake. Na kung saan, ito mismo yung asphalt lakes na siya. So, hindi na siya galing sa mga rocks or stones na rich in minerals or bituminous sands or even impregnated rocks. Wherein talagang lake na siya or yung parang tubig na mismo siya ang langis. Okay. While the second one is the refinery bitumen, wherein after a fractional distillation process in crude oil, bitumen is left as the residual material. So when we say refinery bitumen, ito naman yung mga bitumen na kung saan dumadaan na siya into process of distillation nagaling sa crude oil or kapag naglilinis ng oil. So different countries has different crudes that varies depending on its bitumen content. Crudes from Middle East and the North Sea are found to undergo further process even after distillation to get the final bitumen due to its very small bitumen content. Crude from the Caribbean and neighboring countries, on the other hand, gives the higher content of bitumen that can be extracted with great ease. So, katulad ng sinabi dito, sa iba't ibang countries, meron tayong iba't ibang crudes na kung saan nakadepende siya sa bitumen content niya. Katulad sa Middle East and North Sea, which napakasikat ito para sa mga oils. Diba? Nag-undergo pa ito ng process, even after distillation, para makuha yung final bitumen than the other country. Pero, yung mga crude naman sa Caribbean and neighboring countries is mas mataas yung content ng bitumen nila that can be extracted with great ease. So that's all from my report. Thank you po.
Hello, good day everyone. I'm Renzel Bidagdag and today we will talk about mineral fillers. Mineral fillers consist of finely divided mineral matter such as rock dust, slag dust, hydrated lime, hydraulic cement, fly ash, loess, or other suitable mineral matter. So, mineral fillers is ground up rock or mineral added to a mix. So, therefore, they are not the main product but only an additive or modifier. So, bakit ba tayo gumagamit ng mineral fillers? So, mineral fillers enhance and alter the products. And mineral fillers help control product cost by displacing more expensive ingredients. So, mas na-enhance daw niya yung product and mas napapamura yung cost if gagamit tayo na ng mineral fillers. So, may mga factors din tayong kinoconsider sa pagpili ng mga mineral fillers na gagamitin natin, which is yung cost, specific gravity, hardness, particle size, shape, color, refractive index properties, and chemical properties. The mineral filler consists of very fine, inert mineral matter that is added to the asphalt mix to improve the density and strength of the mixture. And a typical mineral filler completely passes a 0.060 mm or the number 30 sheave, and with at least 65% of the particles passing the 0.075 mm or the number 200 sheave. So, yung typical daw na mineral filler na ginagamit natin sa roadway construction is yung 100% nun is nagpass siya sa may 0.060 mm or the number 30 sheave. And yung 65% nun or yung at least 65% ng particles ay nagpass dun sa may 0.075 mm or the number 200 sheave. So, ano ba yung sheave na tinatawag natin? So, sheave is a device with meshes or perforations through which finer particles of a mixture of various sizes may be passed to separate them from coarser one. So, ito yung sheave is yung device na naghihiwalay sa mga finer particle size dun sa mga broader particle size. So, kailangan natin to para ma-filter natin yung mga materials na ginagamit natin sa roadway construction, especially yung kapag gagamit tayo mga filler or specifically yung mineral filler. Kasi kailangan hindi masyadong malalaki yung gagamitin nating or hindi masyadong malalaki yung mga particles na pagka gumamit tayo ng mineral filler, because makaka-apekto yun dun sa may composition ng roadway construction natin, composition ng i-construct natin na roadway. The portion of the mineral filler that is finer than the thickness of the asphalt film and the asphalt cement binder form a mortar that contributes to improve stiffening of the mix. So, yung mga particle daw ng mineral filler na mas maliliit dun sa thickness of asphalt film and the asphalt cement binder is nagpo-form siya ng mortar. So, yung mortar, kapag sinabi natin mortar, ito yung mga materials that is used to bind building blocks such as stone, tiles, and etc. So, nagsisilbing binder yung mga finer mineral filler and thus contributes para mas ma-improve yung stiffening ng mix ng asphalt natin as asphalt mixture. So, the particles larger than the thickness of the asphalt film behave as mineral aggregate and hence contribute to the contact points between individual aggregate particles. So, yung mga larger particles naman natin na mineral filler is nagbe-behave siya as mineral aggregate and kakontribute siya na contact points between individual aggregate particles. Furthermore, fillers affect the workability, moisture sensitivity, and stiffness and aging characteristics of hot mix asphalt. Dahil nga iba-iba yung characteristic ng mga fillers natin is iba-iba din sila ng effect kapag ginamit natin sila sa hot mix asphalt. So, iba-iba yung workability, moisture sensitivity, and stiffness and aging characteristic of hot mix asphalt natin. So, di ba may mga fillers tayong mas mabilis mag-absorb ng moisture or water. May mga fillers din tayo na hindi ganon kabilis kung mag-absorb ng moisture or water. And may mga fillers din tayong mataas yung plasticity and meron din naman yung mga mababa lang yung plasticity. So, depende yon sa filler na gagamitin natin sa hot mix asphalt natin. Fillers vary in gradation, particle shape, surface area, void content, mineral composition, and psychochemical properties, and therefore, their influence on the properties of HMA mixtures also varies, and the maximum allowable amount should be different for various type of fillers. So meron tayong ibang fillers, and nagkakaiba sila sa radiation, particle shape, surface area, and etc. So dahil magkakaiba sila ng mga content or ng composition, is iba-iba yung influence nila kapag minix natin sila sa ating HMA mixtures or yung tinatawag nating hot mix asphalt. So kapag sinabi nating hot mix asphalt, is automatic is yung 95% nun is stone, sand, or gravel bound together by asphalt cement. So dahil nga iba-iba yung influence nila iba-iba yung influence ng fillers natin, dahil magkakaiba yung composition nila or iba-iba yung characteristic nila, is iba-iba din dapat yung iba-iba din yung maximum allowable amount na ginagamit natin kapag gumagamit tayo ng mga fillers. So kasi kapag may mas fine yung mga fillers na gagamitin natin, ibig sabihin mas madami yung amount na allowable na magamit natin kaysa kapag mas malaki yung particle size ng fillers na gagamitin natin. In order to improve the pavement performance, it is necessary to ensure an adequate behavior of the bituminous mixtures is achieved, which depends essentially on their composition. Therefore, selecting proper type of filler in asphalt mixtures would improve its properties and thus enhance the mixture performance. So, dapat pumipili kapag gagamit tayo ng mga filler, is dapat yung pipiliin natin is yung proper or yung adequate dun na asphalt mixtures natin. And depende din dapat yung pagpili ng filler natin na i-add natin sa asphalt mixtures sa type ng road na gagawin natin or i-construct natin. So kasi may mga road tayo para sa may mga light vehicles and may mga road din tayo para sa mga heavy vehicles na the gradation, shape, and texture of mineral fillers significantly influence the performance of asphalt mix. So, yung important properties na mineral fillers na sinasaalang-alang natin sa asphalt concrete application is yung gradation, plasticity, and presence of deleterious components. So, yung gradation, dito pumapasok yung sheave analysis or yung discuss natin kanina, wherein yung 100% ng fillers na gagamitin natin is nagpapasya sa may 0.060 mm or the number 30 sheave. So kapag sinabi natin gradation, ito yung most commonly is yung sa may particle size, concern siya sa particle size ng filler na gagamitin natin. So next, we have plasticity. So yung plasticity naman is yung ability ng material to undergo permanent deformation under stress without cracking. So, 'di ba sa pag nagko-construct tayo ng road, hindi naman light vehicle ang dumadaan doon. Especially kapag highway ang kino-construct natin. 'Di ba may mga dumadaan na heavy vehicle. So, dapat yung fillers na gagamitin natin sa pagko-construct ng road or ng highway is mataas yung plasticity or yung plasticity ng materials. So, ano naman yung deleterious materials? So, deleterious materials, ito yung mga unadvisable materials kasi hindi siya safe and hindi ganon maganda yung performance niya, and more commonly is subject to change or deterioration yung mga deleterious materials natin. So, examples nito yung mga clay or yung shave. So, kapag gagamit tayo ng mga deleterious materials is dapat limited lang. Kasi, maapektuhan yun ng overall performance ng i-construct na road natin. In terms of graduation, mineral fillers should have 100% of the particles passing 0.60 mm or the number 30 sheave, 95 to 100% passing 0.30 mm or the number 40 sheave, and 70% passing 0.075 mm or the number 200 sheave. So ito nga yung sinasabi kanina, dapat kapag gagamit tayo ng mineral filler is dapat yung 100% ng particles ay nag-pass dun sa number 30 sheave, and yung 95 to 100% ay nag-pass dun sa main number 40 sheave, and yung 70% naman ay nag-pass dun sa number 200 sheave. So mineral filler should be non-plastic, so the particles do not bind together. So dapat daw kapag nagagamit tayo ng mineral filler is non-plastic siya, para hindi magdidikit-dikit yung particles ng mineral fillers natin. And the percentage of deleterious materials such as clay and shale in the mineral filler must be minimized to prevent particle breakdown. So kapag gagamit daw tayo ng mineral filler, dapat limited lang kapag mag-a-add tayo ng mga deleterious materials such as clay and shale, para magkaroon tayo ng mas matibay na road, and para ma-prevent din natin yung mga particle breakdown, or para maiwasan natin yung pagka-crack ng mga road natin. Lalo na kapag yung road natin is mag-undergo siya ng mga high pressure na, kunyari dadaanan siya ng mga heavy vehicle like trucks and etc. So dapat minimize or limited lang gagamitin nating deleterious materials kung gagamit man tayo sa ating mineral fillers.
Good day, I am Wally Kapia, and in this chapter, I will be reporting the steel. So here in the Philippines, every road worker knows that steel isn't exactly used in the making of roads. So which is totoo naman, di ba? Kasi nga, most of the time, yung steel is ginagamit lamang siya to support the base, or kung halimbawa, to support the road, or even halimbawa, walang solid base yung isang road. So concrete pavements, or which is widely used to carry heavy load and provide long-lasting solutions in highways, airports, and bridge decks are usually unreinforced. Reinforcements are only necessary on stressed locations such as angled segments and sharp curves, and when it is not on a solid base, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina. So flexible concrete actually performs better without reinforcing bar. Occasionally, rebar contribute to cracking of if it is flexes. Filipino contractors rather use a selection of different minerals, rocks, and soils in order to create layers that will serve as support for the main road at the very top. So, di ba kasi pag sinabi natin flexible concrete, ito yung different than traditional concrete, na kung saan if yung traditional concrete natin has a polyvinyl alcohol fibers and very fine silica sand, instead, yung flexible concrete natin, meron siyang aggregate. Na kung saan yung aggregate niya, meron tayong fibers such as silica fibers, glass fibers, steel fibers, and asbestos fibers na ginagamit. Tapos, kasi nga, di ba, dito, yung mga flexible concrete kasi dito, mas magandang mag-perform kung wala talagang reinforcing bar. Kasi nga, yung mga steel na yan, ginagamit lamang yan kung halimbawa angled segments, or halimbawa sa mga tulay, na kung saan yun yung magiging support to create a road. Ayan. What is steel? Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon containing less than 2% carbon and 1% manganese, and small amounts of silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, and oxygen. So, since familiar naman na tayo lahat sa steel, di ba? And alam naman natin na steel is the world's most important engineering and construction material, kasi nga, hindi lang siya sa road construction ginagamit, bagkus ginagamit siya sa lahat. Sa construction of structures, houses, buildings, and etc. So generally, the use of steel on roads and highways are mainly for reinforcing of joints, supportive structures such as fences and signage, and lastly, for the creation of bridges. So nabanggit ko na rin kanina, di ba, na kung saan yung steel is mostly ginagamit lamang siya of joints sa pantugtong to support the structures, and also for the use of fences and signage and the creation of bridges. Though the slab may not need to be reinforced, it is necessary to put steel bar dowels on joints. So bakit nga ba kailangan maglagay tayo ng mga steel sa bar dowels that acts as a joints? Kasi nga 'di ba, yung mga steel, sila yung mag-a-act as joints or sila yung magdudugtong sa dalawang slab para na kung sa ganun magkaroon naman ng crack is hindi naman masisira kaagad. Dowels are placed on joints to keep the slab flush even after settling occur. Ayun yung sinasabi ko kanina. So what is dowel bars? Dowel bars are round, smooth steel bars placed across transverse joints to transfer loads without restricting horizontal joint movements due to thermal and moisture expansions. Dowel bars also keep slabs in horizontal and vertical alignment. It reduces deflections and strain due to traffic loads, and in turn it prevents or reduces faulting, pumping, and spacing, and corner braking on roads that carry a large number of trucks and or have longer joint spacing. So na kung saan, sinasabi dito na yung mga dowel bars daw, ipiniprevent niya yung fault o yung mga fracture or zone sa between two blocks or rocks. Ipiniprevent niya na mangyari yon. Kasi nga, pinapatibay din niya yung roads na ginagamit, ay yung roads na ginawa. For slabs longer than 20 feet or 6.0 meter, the use of dowel bars are considered for minimizing faulting and pumping. Ayun. So steels are also used on highways for signage and safety barriers. So kung ano yung nakikita nyo sa mga daan na may mga steels, yun yung nagiging act niya. Ginagamit siya for signage, di ba? For safety barriers such as yung mga fences sa gilid ng daan. Specifically, makikita natin yan sa kapag ang dadaanan natin ay bridge or may tibag, or kung halimbawa, madalas siyang pangyarihan na accident. It can also be used as posts for lightnings and barricades. Therefore, it is also the main component of the steel bridges that connects highways over bodies of water, over obstacles, or over another highway. So, ito siya. Since sinasabi dito kanina na hindi gaanong ginagamit talaga ang steel sa road construction, pero ginagamit siya kapag hindi na maganda yung base natin or kung halimbawa hindi matibay yung pagtatayuan natin. Katulad nga nito, nung bridge na to, it is San Juanico Bridge nung nasa left right natin. Wherein makikita nyo sa bawat gilid niya meron tayong mga steels. And then, most dito, kapag tinignan mismo yung loob niyan, ginamitan ng mga steels yan to support the structure. Kasi nga, pag hindi gagamit ng steel yan, hindi magagawa yan. Or, tapos mabilis masira yan. So that's all for my report. Thank you.
After having a discussion about steel, let us now move to geoplastic fabrics. What is geoplastic fabrics? The geoplastic fabrics were introduced and experimented in Europe in the year 1970. They were used to reinforce soil of pavement and to provide drainage and erosion control for highways and railroads. So ang geoplastic fabrics ay yari sa matitibay at hindi nabubulok na materyales. Ginagamit ito sa mga civil projects katulad ng highways, railroads, dikes, ports at coast. Nilalatag ito sa lupa or pavements upang magsilbing proteksyon, makatulong sa pag-increase ng soil stability at magsilbing separator ng gravels at sand. To fully understand what geoplastic fabric is, let us know its functions. The first one is fluid transmission. Using geoplastic fibers, it collects liquid or gas and conveys it within its own plane towards an outlet. Ang geoplastic fibers ay ginagamit para maayos na papadaan ng mga liquid at gases sa surface nang hindi nasisira o naapektuhan ng soil na nasa ilalim. The second one is filtration. Geoplastic fiber can act as filters. In this, liquid can pass through normally to its own plane. It can prevent most of soil particles to pass through it, therefore allowing only water to pass, not the soil particles. Ang mga dumadaan na liquid ay nililimitahan at kinokontrol lamang ng geoplastic fabric para maiwasan ang pagpuputik o paglampot ng lupa na maaaring mag-cause ng problem sa roads. The third one is separation. When a geoplastic fiber is positioned in between particles with different sizes, that is coarse and fine particles, it acts as a separator preventing those particles to get mixed up upon load application. Isa sa main reason kung bakit ginagamit ang geoplastic fabric sa mga construction of roads ay dahil pine-prevent nito ang paghahalo ng soils. Habang tinatambakan ng isang road, ito ang nagsisilbing harang sa pagitan ng fine soil at coarse material tulad ng gravel and stones. Protection. We can categorize this protection into two kinds, surface protection and interface protection. On surface protection, the geoplastic fibers are applied on the top layer of the area, while on the interface protection, it is applied in between multiple layers of soil. Mayroon dalawang uri ng pag-apply ng geoplastic fabrics. Ang una ay ang paglalagay sa ibabaw ng area bilang surface protection at ang isa naman ay sa pagitan ng mga lupa bilang interface protection. Malaki ang nagiging tulong ng geoplastic fabrics upang ma-prevent ang mga significant damages tulad ng soil erosion at wind damage. Tension membrane. When placed between two different materials having different pressure, the geoplastic fiber acts as a tension membrane. It tries to balance the pressure difference between the two materials and then strengthening the structure. This increase in strength is due to the friction, cohesion, or interlocking between geoplastic fabrics and soil. Since nagkakaroon ng external force between the fabrics and soil, ang geoplastic fabrics ang nag-act as a boundary at nag-aabsorb ng matitinding pressure and stresses na nanggagaling sa dalawang layers. Sa paraang ito, napapanatili ang katatagan at tibay ng isang structure. The last function is drainage. As the geoplastic fiber is a permeable material and it plays an important role in drainage for most of the civil engineering structures like dams, road pavements, embankments, etc., in which drainage of the water is most important. For these structures, different under-drain systems should be constructed. Due to use of geoplastic fiber in these structures for drainage, efficiency of under-drainage system is increased because it is very easy to construct. Mahalagang ma-drain out ang excess water sa construction of roads dahil maaari itong mag-cause ng erosion. Sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng geoplastic fabrics, ang tubig ay nagpo-flow directly from the ground nang hindi nagko-cause ng damage sa pavement layers. Karaniwan din itong ginagamit sa hindi flat na surface katulad ng golf course. Now, let us move to the application of geoplastic fabrics on roads. Number 1. Paved surface rehabilitation. Under an asphalt concrete overlay, a geoplastic fabrics may provide sufficient tensile strength to relieve stresses exerted by movement of the existing pavement. The geoplastic fabric acts as a stress-relieving interlayer as the cracks move horizontally or vertically. Geoplastic fabrics impregnation of the geoplastic fabrics with a bitumen provides a degree of moisture protection for the underlying layers whether or not reflecting cracking occurs. As I have said earlier, ang materials ng geoplastic fabric ay matibay and dinesign para makayanan ng mga stresses na nanggaling sa upper or lower pavement. Since nag-act ito as drainage, naiiwasan ang pagmamoist ng mga aspaltong daan na siyang major cause ng cracks. Number 2. Reflective crack treatment for pavements. Geoplastic fabrics have been successful in reducing and retarding reflective cracking in mild and dry climates when temperature and moisture changes are less likely to contribute to movement of the underlying pavement. Whereas, geoplastic fabrics in cold climates have not been as successful. Even when the climate and thickness requirements are met, there has been no consistent increase in the time it takes for reflective cracking to develop in the overlay, indicating that other factors are influencing the performance. Ang reflective cracks ay isa sa major problems ng mga engineers sa maintenance and rehabilitation ng asphalt pavements. Lumalabas ito kapag nagkakaroon ng movement ang mga original cracks na lumalabas sa outer layer at nag-aalaw sa water na makapasok at unti-unting mag-cause ng damage. Ang geoplastic fabrics ay nakatutulong para i-reduce ang mga reflective cracks during mild and dry climate. However, sabi dito, hindi siya successful sa cold climates. Number 3. Pavement separation and reinforcement. Soft subgrade materials may mix with the granular base or sub-base material as a result of loads applied to the base course during construction, and loads applied to the pavement surface that force the granular material downward into the subgrade, or as a result of water moving upward in the granular material and carrying the subgrade material with it. Also, the subgrade can be stabilized with lime or cement, or the thickness of granular material can be increased to reduce the stress on the subgrade. Geoplastic fabrics have been used in construction of gravel roads and airfields over soft soils to solve these problems in either increase the life of the pavement or reduce the initial cost. It also helps in separation of the thin grain soil and coarse materials to prevent pumping of fines from the subgrade to the base course. Equipments used in highway construction. On history, building began soon after the discovery of the wheel and has been a symbol of prosperity and economy for civilizations globally. With the advancement of technology up to the current times, road construction machineries are invented that are capable of executing complex tasks even in the most unhittable corners of the world. So, before you venture out to begin construction, here's a list of the most common road construction machines commonly used in modern-day construction. Crawler excavator, used for excavating or moving soils, rocks, clays, or debris in road construction sites. Depending on the need, excavators vary on sizes. They are generally considered to be heavy equipment. Crawler excavators are mounted on a chain-based system similar to military tanks that gives them stability than excavators that are mounted on wheels while operating on an even or ununiform surface. It is also used for some heavy work such as breaking asphalt, walls, clearing trees, or loading debris on dump trucks. Ang crawler excavator ay may bucket at may mahabang arm na ginagamit sa mga heavy-duty jobs like construction and mining. Ang purpose ng construction machine na ito ay upang mapabilis ang paghuhukay, pag-move ng malalaking objects at paglo-load ng soil. Sa paggamit ito, hindi lang mapapabilis ang pagtrabaho kundi mapapababa pa nito ang magiging gastos sa labor fee. Ang 4 main size categories nito ay midi, standard, and large. Motor grader. It is considered to be one of the most important machinery in road construction. Motor grader is used for leveling the road surface so that asphalt or concrete can be laid on it. Generally, motor graders are used for the construction of gravel or dirt-based roads. It is also called as articulated frame motor graders, consisting 3 axles. In between front and rear of the grader, a blade is situated which levels the intended surface. Motor graders, depending on the scale of the construction activity, are also available in different sizes, in which comes different width of the blades. Ang motor grader naman ay isang construction machine na may adjustable blade at ginagamit para ma-flat ang isang surface like roads. Maaari din itong gamitin upang ma-move ang soil from one place to another, maalis ang mga nakaharang sa daan at maging guide sa paggawa ng mga slopes and inclines. Sa ibang bansa, ginagamit ito para maalis ang snow sa daan na maaaring mag-cause ng accidents. Road roller. They are compaction machineries used for compacting layers of soil or asphalt to increase the sturdiness as well as smoothness of the surface of the road. Several types of road rollers are available and varies on the basis of the manufacturer and their application. Some common type of rollers used in highways and road constructions include tandem or double drum rollers, smooth wheel rollers, pneumatic tired rollers, and vibratory rollers. Ang road roller naman ay construction machine na may steel drum roller sa harap at sa likod na ginagamit upang masiksik ang layer ng soil, gravel, concrete, or asphalt. Ang purpose nito ay para mas maging solid at stable ang foundation ng project dahil kapag siksik ang soil, mababawasan ang chance nito na gumuho o lumubog. Wheel loader. It is also known as the front loader or bucket loader. It has an arm with a huge bucket attached to it. Wheel loaders are used for lifting and moving soil, rocks, debris, or other materials in, out, or around construction sites. They can also be used for backfilling trenches or holes that are dug up during the road construction. They are typically wheel-mounted, highly mobile, and can lift materials without spreading them out. Ang wheel loader naman ay may malaking bucket loader sa harap na ginagamit para mag-scoop ng materials at dalhin sa isang specific location. May 4 itong malalaking gulong na enough para i-transport ang malalaki at madaming materials. Mayroon 2 uri ng wheel loader, ang light loaders at heavy loaders. Ang light loaders ay maliit lang, enough para i-load ang light materials, habang ang heavy loaders naman ay ang malalaki na ginagamit para mag-transport ng malalaking materials. Asphalt mixing plant. These are plants where asphalt, concrete, and coated aggregates are produced by mixing sand, aggregates, asphalts, minerals, fillers, binders, etc. in the right proportion and temperature. It's been a significant contributor to the advancement in the quality of roads that we see today. Depending upon the project demand, mixing plants can be either set up in the construction site itself or the required materials can be transported from the remote plants in proper storage. Ang asphalt mixing plant naman ay planta kung saan sinasagawa ang paghahalo ng mga asphalt. Napapabilis nito ang mga trabaho sa construction roads, city roads, and parking lots. Ang isang asphalt mixing plant ay binubuo ng supply system, drum dryer, coal burner, coal feeder, dust collector, hot aggregate elevator, filler supply system, weighing and mixing system, asphalt storage, and bitumen supply system. Dump trucks. Dirt and debris dug up by the excavators are hauled away by dump trucks. These trucks are capable of hauling away large amounts of dirt. Dump trucks are made in different sizes. Large jobs with a lot of dirt moving require several small or a few large dump trucks. Ang dump trucks naman ay may open box bed sa likod na ginagamit para mag-transport ng mga maraming materials na kakailanganin sa isang construction. Maraming sizes ang dump trucks depende sa kailangan. Napapabilis nito ang pag-transport ng materials na kailangan dalhin sa malalayong location. Pavers. Pavers place new pavement on the ground. Pavement needs to be hot and properly mixed when laid. Pavers are highly efficient machines that allow for precise installation of pavement mix. Dump trucks dump the pavement mix into the paver's hopper. It is slowly driven down the area, dug out specifically for laying down the pavement mix. Paying attention to small details is essential to operating a paver. Ang paver ay isang construction machine na ginagamit upang maglagay ng asphalt directly sa isang surface at nagpo-provide ng minor compaction. Ang pavement mix ay nilalagay ng dump truck sa paver's hopper na nasa likod. After mailagay ng pavers ang pavement mix sa isang surface, gagamitin naman ng rollers para mas lalo itong siksikin at maging smooth.